Good morning, actually. I said we were meant to head off early. This was meant to be an early start to do a proper 3-day road trip. It's now, Monica, do you know what time it is? It's 12 o'clock. Ridiculous. Okay, we're going to now make the most of having this car because I'll be completely honest, this has been sat in the underground car park for the best part of 4 days not being used. This is what we're going to do for the next 3 days. A road trip up into the centre of Sri Lanka. First day is going to be 250 kilometres and 5 hours solid driving. Not specifically to the tourist point of Kandy, right in the heart of the island, but we're going to go to Newark Eliya. This is the tea capital of Sri Lanka. Suzuki wagon, all fueled up, ready to go. And Monica, soak all of this in, soak in the coconuts, the banana trees, the palm trees, everything around you, the 33-degree heat, because we're heading to a temperate climate. You may want to change your shorts as well, because where we're going, it should be about 10 degrees colder. I'll fill you in with one more thing as well. I wanted to film this for a video, but Monica and I were driving along, and we decided to go to an area which is known to have lots of elephants and wildlife. And Monica and I, footage up here, we saw a wild elephant. I cannot believe it, we actually saw one. We weren't even in one of the national parks. This footage may look like we're in a zoo, but I promise you this isn't a zoo. The elephant was within the national park, right next to the electric fence. That's why you can see a fence there. And you'll also see some tourists throwing it some fruit and vegetables, things like that. But that is a genuine wild elephant in Sri Lanka. So we've seen monitor lizards, we've seen wild elephants, and I've seen a special bluebird as well. That's that for the wildlife point of view. This will interest the Brits a lot. Anyone of a certain age in the UK will remember the proud name of British Leyland. There's one thing that shocked me here. Leyland is a company that you'll see almost everywhere on the streets of Sri Lanka. That badge may have some level of familiarity. Ashok Leyland, they formed a collaboration with, or Ashok, the company, the Indian company, formed a collaboration with Leyland back in 1955, and Ashok Leyland was the outcome of that partnership. These buses here make up such a gigantic proportion of buses on the roads in India and Sri Lanka that they are the 3rd largest bus manufacturer. The amount of diesel fumes that they spew out is something like I haven't seen probably in about 30 years, but there you go. The proud name, Leyland. It's on the road everywhere here. That's enough. Let's hit the road. It's 5 hours. The sun sets at about 6 o'clock here. I'd love it if we could get to our accommodation just before sunset, but it really just depends how many times we stop off. 5 hours. Let's hit the road. Sri Lanka's infrastructure is phenomenally good. But take a look at the road ahead of us. And then Monica, if you can, have a look in the rearview mirror just to get an idea. This is a stunningly good motorway. It must have been built at huge expense, but no one is on it. We're 120 miles or 120 kilometers. That's how long we've got on this before we get to the next point where we have to turn off. And I think we've probably seen about 10 cars in the past 20 minutes. It goes the same for train journeys as well. The train line, stunningly good. It's about as near makes no difference, let's say £1 to get from the south of Sri Lanka up to Colombo. And here on the motorways, we took a 1.5-hour motorway ride on this brilliant, clean, immaculate motorway. And I think it cost us something like 40 pence. So it's not only brilliant infrastructure, but it's genuinely usable infrastructure. I mean, why people don't use it more, I'm not sure, but if you're a tourist coming here, this is an excellent, excellent place to get your own transport because you can cover distance quickly. The motorway is elevated. You can see water buffalo in the fields, all the sights around. You can peacocks. I mean, genuinely peacocks on the side of the motorway, and you get a really good idea about how luscious everything is. It's a fantastic island for road trips. This is strange. Hello. I did not expect to find this. We've been going up to an altitude of about 1,100 meters. Some of the nicest driving riding roads I've seen, completely unspoilt, untouched scenery, really nice quality tarmac. And you're getting higher and higher in altitude, thinking you're not going to find anywhere. And then we stumble across this, I say little, this proper-sized town called Ella with tattoo studios, cafes, bars. Take a look at this selection. So some enduro-style bikes with a couple of beautiful old Royal Enfield Classic 350s in green and white. What a place. And these are 125s. Excuse me, how much is a Royal Enfield for the day?
It's 13,500 Sri Lanka.
13,500. Thank you so much. And one of these ones?
It's 10,500.
10,500. And a monkey bike as well. So 10 to 13,000, which equates to, not bad, 25 to 35 pounds a day, depending on what you go for. It's so annoying. that I never found one of those on the south coast of the island, but up here, genuinely, it would be some of the best riding that you've ever done. It's also a good 6 degrees cooler up here. It's noticeably cooler. The weather is way more changeable and it's much, much moodier up here. Literally that 1100 meter altitude has changed it from being unpleasantly hot in shorts and t-shirt to needing trousers. We're properly up in the clouds. And this isn't some sleepy town. This is maybe even more so a tourist destination than the south coast of Sri Lanka. I've seen more tourists here than I have in many of the southern bits of the islands. The interesting thing is, it's a completely different kind of tourist. I've seen loads of cameras, lots of hiking gear. It's more the kind of tourists who don't just come for a beach break off of surfing. It's the kind of tourists who come because they want to go off hiking, they want to go exploring, to see this temple, that bit of mountainside, for example. A lot of Germans. You know, I always say it, it's a very good point you make, Monika. Anywhere where there are Germans and French, you know that's going to be a high-class type place, because the Germans and French are the best nationalities in the world for sniffing out the nicest places to be. It's also so easy to come. When you come to a place like Sri Lanka, pristine beaches, it's easy to just stay in those bits that are always the picture postcard areas, the white sand, the turquoise water. But I'm so glad we decided to come here for the last few days, because it's a completely different experience. And this is now the second downpour we've had in the past hour and a half. You can hear in the background as well, just while Monika's panning over the road, every so often you hear the tuk-tuks that have been struggling for the past 10 minutes to make it up this altitude. They've been pulling over every so often, struggling, and then you get the Ashok Leyland buses and coaches and lorries that are just chugging out that black diesel, probably delighted they've made it up to the top here. We're an hour away from our destination. I had to pull over here because I feel like I'm back in England. There's a red post box right there. The other side of the street, there is the Church of the Ascension. And right next to the Church of the Ascension, on the other side of the street, there's a cricket pitch, all surrounded by these beautiful green hills. Hello. What a location. Genuinely, Sri Lanka gets more interesting the further inland you get. The closer to the heart of the island, the more character there is and the more things there are to see. This is definitely my most enjoyable road trip since we've been here. Welcome to one of the finest entrances I've ever had when we stayed in a hotel. This is Craigbank, a 160-year-old colonial house built by the British during that era. We're currently in what's often known as Little England, Newark Eliya. I'll do a full tour of the outside tomorrow and we'll have a wander around the town. but I've been completely blown away. We drove up this borderline off-roading track that took about 5 minutes, wondering, are we in the right place? And then suddenly there are 2 stone pillars either side as you drive up this grand entrance, completely covered driveway. Park up. And I asked the gentleman who's standing there, very politely, waiting specifically for us, do I need to tuck the car in the corner, or are we going to be blocking anyone? And he said, no, you're the only people here tonight. We've got this 4-bedroom house, 160 years old, to ourselves. We were greeted, told to take a seat here. And then the gentleman walks off, goes away for 2 minutes and brings us the world famous Ceylon tea. We are in the absolute heart of tea making country here in Sri Lanka. So he sat us down, he then took us to our room. We've got everything here to ourselves. It's Sri Lankan owned now. I think the gentleman bought it, Sri Lankan gentleman, around 20 years ago. He's not here at the moment. He lives in Colombo. It's his vacation house. So next week, he's going to be back here and I'm sure he'll take over the whole house. But for tonight, it's all ours. It's like, if you've ever been to the UK, a top-level National Trust property. It's £80 a night. £80 a night. I don't need to do much talking when the place is as special as this. Apparently, they've tried to keep it as similar as it would have been 160 years ago. I mean, you can feel all of the grandeur, just more than enough space everywhere. A nice little snug area here with some Scrabble, antlers coming down the ceiling as a chandelier, TV in the corner. I don't think there's a TV in the bedroom, but when you've got all this space, you retire to the TV room. Grand hallway. Coming into the place we're going to be having breakfast. We'll save all of tomorrow for the next video because there's so much to show here, but have a look at this as a grand place for breakfast. Although I can't guarantee it, I just get the feeling that at least a good chunk of this furniture may well have been here since the house was made. At the very least, they've incredibly sympathetically reupholstered it to that traditional standard with the deep, deep coloured, it's not even wallpaper, that's fabric. Dark wood doors, look at the height of it. It's got to be 9 feet tall. Through to the hallway, I mean, the pictures, everything, it just sets the scene. Dog hunting, hunting in general, this would have been a real playground for people who liked hunting. And pictures of the owner here. So this is the current owner's family. This would be them right here. And these will be the ones I think that will be staying here next week. It's just an overload for the senses, isn't it? It's so incredibly well done. Old maps of Ceylon. Ceylon, of course, was the old name of Sri Lanka. Up until 1972, I didn't know this. It wasn't Sri Lanka, it was Ceylon. I mean, have a look at some of these old pictures. Brilliant, the local Sri Lankans here hunting, working away. The East Wing, this is ours. So right ahead of you there is the bathroom with, I love it, paintings of elephants. The old dark wood doors. This area just to put your bags and things. It all feels like nothing's been changed since it was brand new. Very nicely appointed bathroom with 2 sinks and 2 mirrors, and just look at the door on the back. I can't wait to open that up in the morning and see what the view's like. With an equally stunning bedroom. I mean, there is no area of this house that's a letdown. It's all beautiful. This is all the lighting we can possibly get, so we can't get it any lighter. It may be slightly grainy, but hopefully Monika's camera will do a good enough job of showing how beautiful this is. I mean, the artwork everywhere, it's all on point. You can see how important elephants are here. I know they were hunted in this area, but beautiful paintings of them. The wooden flooring, the stone flooring in the middle, it's all beautiful. Right, we're going to go. Let's go and finish off our tea. everything outside we'll show tomorrow, because I don't want to try and film outside now because it's pitch black. So we'll save that tomorrow. We've still got the place to ourselves tomorrow. So it's been an amazing day, really brilliant road trip. Thank you so much everyone for coming along. Have a brilliant day, and we'll see you all in the next one.